Hi everyone, I'm Jackie. Welcome to Spirit World Insights. So on Tuesday, I channeled a collective of elementals, and they were tapping into information that they said I could probably expand on, that it would be worthwhile expanding on. And so I decided to pull that topic into today's topic. So I am again channeling a collective energy for the elementals that has been working with me for 7 years, I believe. And when we talk about elementals, we are relating to dragons, unicorns, fairies, gnomes, things like that. I will be honest and say that I did not have any reason to believe in any spirit consciousness like that until I moved to Alaska. I was then introduced to them through different people, different experiences walking through the rainforest out here. And once you experience something like an elemental, you never forget it, because it is incredibly powerful energy that really ups your vibration in a way that you feel amazing. And it was from that point on that I thought, oh yeah, okay, they exist. They definitely exist. I'm not going to doubt this anymore. And that's really what happens for a lot of us, is we don't believe something until we experience it ourselves. So wherever you are on that spectrum, I hope that you might find it entertaining today, informative and inspiring, wherever you might be, with what the collective of the elementals that works with me has to say. So when we talked on Tuesday, and if you haven't watched the video where I brought their healing vibration through on Tuesday, then I definitely suggest after this you can go back and watch it. It's a quantum healing, so it doesn't matter when you watch it, you will still be able to sense and feel the benefits from it. But they mentioned going deeper into how to connect with them, ways to connect with them, what happens when you connect with them. So I'm going to go ahead and go into elaborating on that a little bit more for our Spirit World Insight topic today. This might be a little bit longer video because we're going to cover going into the Ascension and why is the Ascension painful. Okay, so when we talk about the elementals, we're talking about spirits that are typically residing in the 8th and 9th dimension or higher. And when they are coming from a space that's that high of a dimension, they don't typically come down to meet you. They won't come down into 3D. They're going to call you to come up higher. Now, their consciousness can exist out in the rainforest in different locations, but you won't pick up on it unless you're in those higher dimensions. So if you are functioning in 3 and 4D, you might not actually pick up on the elementals. So you might be asking, well, how can I raise my vibration in order to get up there? Keep in mind that when you raise your vibration, it's a choice. It's a choice that you get to make because of free will. One of the techniques that I was given by two of my main guides are Archangel Gabriel and Metatron. And they've given me a plethora over the past 3 years of specific techniques and tools to use in order to heal and to raise your consciousness. The one that they've given me as far as raising the vibration is a matter of utilizing the chakras. And if you're not familiar with the chakras or chakras, however you want to pronounce it, they are the energy centers in the body. They spin like a wheel, and they are located 7 specific ones that are connected to the physical body. They start at the root, that they call the root chakra, and then they have the sacral navel, basically around the belly button, and then you go up into the solar plexus at the bottom of the ribs. You have the heart, you have the throat, the third eye, and then the crown. And the technique that they give me is to imagine that you can fly upward. And if you start at the tailbone and you imagine flying upward through the chakras of the body and out through the crown of your head into the 8th dimension. So if you're imagining that the chakras are raising dimensions in you, raising your consciousness, and then when you get out through the crown, you go up into the 8th dimension. And in the 8th dimension is what my guides show me as a void. It's a big, cosmic, beautiful space that gives me access to anywhere that I want to go. Depending on the person, some of them will go into a voided space by going down into Mother Earth. So don't feel like the way that I'm explaining is the only way. No, that's just what resonates with me. But I close my eyes and I imagine flying up through all the colors. I usually just imagine going through, because the root is red, sacral navel is orange, and then the solar is yellow, the heart is green, the throat is a sky blue, the third eye is an indigo color, and then the crown is like a deep violet purple. And then when I get into the void, that's where I can feel and resonate with higher dimensional beings. That's also where I do astral traveling, by the way. So when we raise up, I do get questions. I do get, which is why we're here, about why is it painful? Why is it painful to choose to raise your vibration up into these higher states of consciousness? So keep in mind that we are on a planet that was taken down into 3D to see how dense can we make the physical body and still stay connected to source. Well, we got to 3D. But it's not fun. It's filled with separation and human ego, right? And we are sentient beings, which means we feel everything. That's how we interpret communication on this planet, is through feeling. And so when you're raising your consciousness, you're actually moving up through levels of emotion and feeling. And so as you break through one, you will experience, commonly, spurts of pain. I will say this, we are carbon-based bodies on this planet. And a carbon-based body that wants to raise its consciousness is going to move from carbon to crystalline. And again, as that transition happens, in the process, it creates a feeling, and then the feeling can create pain. But keep in mind, this is it's not a scare tactic or to put fear in you that, oh my gosh, if I raise my consciousness, I'm going to have pain. It's temporary. And once you've gotten into that level of consciousness that has moved into that crystalline form, then the pain is gone. You won't experience it again. Let's talk about, like my guide wants me to go into some of the different pains that we can be talking about, because when we realize that we're raising consciousness, we call that an ascension, and we are moving through a very open space on this planet right now that is allowing people to ascend with Mother Earth. We're doing it at the same time. And so when you're choosing to do that, well, some people call it waking up. When you do that, the mental consciousness is able to do it a whole lot faster than your body is. Your body is slower, it's dense, it's heavy, so it takes time to catch up with the choice of raising the consciousness, and that's why you will experience through the ascension, through the awakening, through higher consciousness, different pains. So they want me to talk about that. So you can have aches in the bones, the joints, the tissues, and the muscles, and in the nerves. You can have swelling and inflammation in different parts of the body, like the hands, the feet, the ankles. Some people will experience skin feeling heated, hot to the touch. Some people will experience pain leaving the body, like out through joints or out through the feet or the hands where the meridian lines are running. And if you're not familiar with meridian lines, they're lines like veins and vessels. They're like that, but they carry energy through the body. And they basically start and end through the feet. Also, ascension issues could be related to disharmony in the lower chakras. Those of you that are sensitive to other energies or entities may feel pain in the root chakra, like where the colon is. Some of you may experience gut issues where you're feeling pain in the navel area or right at the bottom of the solar plexus in your belly. So you can have belly issues or intestinal issues. And this is just sensitivity to the energy that is in the environment around you. Also, it could be the sensitivity of the healing that is trying to take place in your own body as you're choosing to raise your consciousness. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. Other people will experience heart palpitations or actually feeling pain or heaviness in the heart chakra. Other people might experience coughing or almost like a block in the throat chakra, like if someone's holding you, or that you've got a shield around you. Inner ear ringing is a big one, and that one is actually tied a lot to your guides, because when you are raising your vibration and they're talking to you, you get a wee sound, and it's just because they either need to lower their vibration or you need to raise yours up in order for that ringing to stop, and that just takes time. You also could be hearing it right now. Mother Earth has got this interesting hum going on, and there are certain days where I can just hear this audible hum sound coming from her. And again, like I said, all this is temporary. It will come in and come out very sporadically. Sometimes it will last a couple weeks, sometimes it's just a couple minutes, sometimes a couple hours, a couple days. It just depends on what is going on. What is it that your body is doing? Let's see. Another thing. Okay, so we're in the head. So lightheadedness is also an ascension symptom. Having headaches, especially back here at the occipital ridge, at the temples, and the third eye. Very common. And again, it just comes on out of nowhere. You have no clue why it's there, and then it will go away just as easy as it came on. I will say this, that when you are dealing with head stuff, it's typically because you are being attuned by a guide. Anytime you get a brand new guide working with you, and they come in and out, some of them will be there for your whole life. Some of them are going to be there just for specific missions or tasks that you are involved in. But when you get a new one, they have to attune to you. They have to basically come in and take your carbon-based consciousness, or whatever you're at, however you are, and they have to blend with it. And in that process of blending, there's tweaking that goes on, and so it's almost like you can feel like things getting tweaked. I can honestly say that it feels really weird sometimes. It's like somebody's tinkering inside my head. And then all of a sudden it's fine, because once they attune to you, then you're attuned, and it's done. But in the process of raising your consciousness, these are just some of the different symptoms that I've experienced and other people that I've been working with have experienced and mentioned as well. So I'd be surprised if you haven't experienced, those of you that are watching, at least one or more of these symptoms. What can you do about it? Well, I found that just surrendering to it, if I tried to control it, it felt worse. If I just allow myself self-care time to just acknowledge and be with it, then it went much faster. I also learned that I can speak up to my guides and say, too much, too intense, back up please, back off a little, tone it down. That's a word that I'll use, tone it down. Too intense. You have free will. Speak your truth. You won't regret standing into that power and getting to know your guides. Talk to them. They're listening all the time. And especially when they're working with you, don't be, you're the one with boots on the ground dealing with the pain, right? They're up there not dealing with that and just helping you. So sometimes it's necessary to tell them, look, this is really painful for me. I've even had times where they would be attuning, or let me mention downloads too. If you're getting downloaded information that you will be utilizing later, that can also give you lightheadedness and pain while that download is going on. And I had that going on one day, and I was miserable. I just was not able to carry on. That day was rough. And I had a client that night, and I finally just said, look, I need to call this client and cancel because I can't do this. Not feeling this way. It was too hard to connect. And my guides kept going, no, we will stop when the time comes. And I was just like up to the last minute, and I was like, I've got to cancel. And they were like, we're done. And within seconds, the pain was gone, and the client called, and I was fine. I was able to do the session. It was totally fine. So they know what you're doing. They understand that what they're asking you to do is not easy. And, those of you that have been going through it for a few years now, or even just a few months, you know that this is not easy, but boy, is it rewarding, because what happens is once all that attuning is done, or once you've raised your consciousness, and then, oh boy, do things get more clear. You got so many benefits, so many amazing things that are on your side helping you to keep you in the flow with your higher self, right? Awesomeness. But it's just getting through that attunement, or getting through that raising your vibration into these higher levels. A little bit of pain, but a whole ton of bliss. And, yeah. All right, let me see what else they want to talk about. See what else they want to... Yeah, so my guide is saying, please know that your support team has your best interest in mind at all times. And when you learn and choose, right, because you learn through experience, right? And then it's a matter of you making a choice to trust them. You will never be disappointed. You are being appointed into higher powers, higher states of consciousness that bring in a harmony for you and what you're doing here, the desires of your heart, so that they can come through and manifest into fruition. In this process, they are always behind you 100%. And they're like, we understand that it is difficult and that it is not always fun. However, the benefits outweigh the struggle. So I hope that this has been informative for you. I hope that it gives you a sense of understanding, because sometimes we feel so alone, like we're the only one that must be possibly going through some of these things. For those of you that are empaths, for those of you that might be gatekeepers, you guys, we got it rough. Really rough. No lie. It is not easy, but we are supported, and there are lots of techniques and tools that we have available to us to help us get through. That's why I'm here, to help teach these tools and techniques, because we all need a little help. So I do have some things coming up in the near future, some tools and technique workshops that I'll be doing on Zoom for you guys, just to start introducing you to some of these things that can be helpful. So if you're interested in that, please subscribe to the channel, and that way you can get the notifications when this stuff starts coming out, or you can even go onto my website at clearvibration.com and send me a note that you would like to be added to the email list. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. Sorry it was a little bit long today, but they really wanted these messages to be brought through so that you knew that these are just a part of what we are going through in order to help ourselves move up into our higher power. So, all right, you guys, have a beautiful day. Take care. Bye.